Welcome to Talk of the Tatnam, where we, the supporters, get the chance to talk with players, coaches and backroom staff at Pooltown Football Club. This week, we speak to team captain Jamie Whisken. With 10 seasons under his belt at Poole, Whisk talks about his career, Tom Killick, and conjures up his dream five-a-side team.
All right, Jamie, how's it going?
Good evening, fellas.
Good evening. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
So I guess we'll just start with the most recent events. It was quite a turbulent Saturday. How do you feel about that game now? It's settled down after a couple of days.
Do you know what? I'm normally reasonably calm on the pitch. Saturday, it took me a good 20 minutes to regain my composure at half time. The first half, after that happened, my head was all over the place. It was just, we were obviously in complete control of the game, playing great football on top against Chesham, who are, in my opinion, are probably the favourites for the league. And I can't say too much because my opinion's irrelevant now, but the decision was, well, it changed the game, but the decision was outrageous. And yeah, I can't say too much on it because there's nothing positive to say. But
yeah, I mean, you were fairly close to it and you ended up getting booked, didn't you, I think, for chatting to the ref, saying something perhaps you shouldn't, which seems a bit out of character for yourself. So you're obviously fuming about it.
Yeah, I even made him come to me to book me. I wasn't even going to waste my time going up to him. But it's just heated, and it was so unfortunate. The thing is, we got ourselves back into the game, which was incredible as well, because they're a good side, and to get back to 1-1, it's just such a shame. It was so naive to then go and concede again, but it's tough. It's tough with 10 men, especially when you're playing one of the best teams in the league. But that's football.
Yeah, speaking of football, I think there's a goal behind you. I think Tatnam has scored.
Yeah. Did you see that from my camera?
I could just see him all celebrating and running off
there
as the corner.
Yeah. Oh, is it Son?
Yeah.
Fantasy points. Yes.
Need that. Madison assist, hopefully.
Oh, if it's Madison assist, I'm banking.
So will you try and bounce back? Will you? Because obviously you've got no time now with Tubbsy or any of the team. I know Tubbsy was telling us about Danny's stuff comes through, but how will you try and bounce back? Yeah,
I mean, we have to do our analysis in our own time. We've got all our analysis together for tomorrow night away at Hungerford. We'll watch videos in our own time. We'll read Danny Webb's analysis he's put together for our game plan, etc., how they play, things to look out for. But yeah, you have to do your recovery in your own time, your analysis in your own time, and then be ready to pretty much bounce back tomorrow night.
You must be in the nicest way possible. You must be sick of playing at Hungerford, because I was speaking to John just before. Since I've been coming to Poole since 2010, I think we played them 11 times. It's a stupid, well, even more, 13 I think it is. So tomorrow will be the 14th. You must be sick and tired of playing them, really. So whenever they go up, we seem to go up, and whenever they go down, we seem to be there. So yeah,
it must have been maybe 5 years ago. It was a hell of a rivalry with them. We've not been there for a few years, so it would be interesting. Hopefully the pitch has improved. Maybe the ground's improved a little bit, but yeah, there was a hell of a rivalry back then. Our manager didn't like their manager. The matches were feisty. It was good. They're always good games, but yeah, not the nicest place to go in the world. But we got to go there now and pick up 3 points. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about your footballing journey from when you started. We'll get onto you and put Saturday's game to bed. Tell us about your footballing career from when you first had a spark to the game, to the academy, to sort of 10 years at Poole.
Yeah, so obviously the last 11 years have been very settled, but what people don't know before that is I was probably my younger years a bit of a journeyman. From when I left Bournemouth at a young age, I managed to make my debut at Bournemouth away at Wigan Athletic in the Carling Cups. That was good, age 17. But from when I left Bournemouth, I did the rounds. Maybe I did a year at each of the following. I did Aldershot, Farnborough, Basingstoke, Bognor Regis, Sutton, and then I think I went back to Farnborough, and then I went to Totton. So I did my a few years experience getting around the non-league clubs there. But that come aged 24, I felt like I was at experienced. And I've been to so many blooming clubs that a lot of these clubs back then all had financial issues as well. So it wasn't for any particular reason I was hopping one to the other. It was Farnborough went into liquidation, Basingstoke had issues. Went up to Sutton. I think we got relegated from the Conference South with Sutton, so that kind of thing went a bit pear-shaped there. But yeah, it was. I wouldn't change it by any means. Met many good managers, some great players, some good times, but it was all part of the journey. Then yeah, I think age 25, I think I must have signed for Paul. Obviously, yeah, and here we are now, 11 years in.
It's mental, isn't it? I remember you signing. It doesn't actually feel relatively that long ago.
Yeah, crazy.
I know obviously you made your debut for Bournemouth in the league. It was against Wigan. Can you remember much about that game at all? And obviously at the time you were 17. Can you remember what the process was? Kind of like, you must have been told at some point that you were playing in that game. Can you remember much about it at all? Or?
Yeah, I remember it clearly. Funny enough, Joe Roach brought me an article in a few days ago, back from when I was 17, and it was a Christmas period. I'll have to show you guys, because it said that Eddie Howe was out injured, and I had been drafted in from the youth squad to cover him over the Christmas period where he was.
Nice.
So obviously he was playing back then, centre half. Yeah, he was out injured. I remember for the Boxing Day and New Year's Day fixtures, and they brought me in. I was on the bench for both of those games. Yeah, I was 17 at the time, so that was when I started getting in with the first team. Myself and the same age group was Brett Pittman, so it was both of us kind of were drafted in at the same time. But yeah, you don't even think about it until now, where Eddie is and how far he's gone. That I completely, not forgot that I played with him, but yeah, he was a part of things back then. Shows how long ago it was, eh?
Yes.
I was going to say, I'm going to test your knowledge a bit here. Can you remember what your squad number was for Bournemouth?
30, yeah.
It was correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember who you came on? Can you remember who you came on for in that League Cup game?
Oh, do you know the answer to that?
Yeah.
Not Sean Mayer, was it?
No, it was Danny Rodriguez.
Oh, was it? That's attacking substitution, yeah.
In the 88th minute, according to the BBC. But yeah, I think Wigan as well at that point. That was Wigan's first season in the Premier League, so you would have been playing against like Premier League opposition at that point. I looked at the match report, and you would have played against for the time that you did, it was Jason Roberts.
Yeah, Jason Roberts played. Yeah,
Omri Camera was in that team. Yeah. Stefan Honcho, Andreas Johansson, who's got the memorability of having the last ever red card at Highbury, allowing Omri to score that last ever goal. So
yeah, no, it was a good experience, especially as a boy.
Yeah, you were on the pitch with some legends of the game. You were in the academy with Brett Pittman. Was there anyone else who you were in with at all?
Not my age group that have gone on. Mickey Hubbard, we know he was the age group above. Sam Vokes and Josh McCoy, they went on to have pro careers. They were the age group below. I think Danny Ings, the age group below that.
Until a few weeks ago, you'd had Tommy there and Spets by your side pretty much the whole time. How's it feeling out there now with Big Harvey there and his tattoos and his marauding runs into the opposition penalty box?
No, he's brilliant. Harvey's a top lad, and he will be. He is a top centre half, and he will be for many years to come. But yeah, it's strange. Of course, it's strange. It's all change, but I feel like I deal quite well with change. Yeah, you almost don't have time to think about it and look back on all. Well, you do in your own time, but it's just been all go since then. He's not had time to really stop and think. So, yeah, it's been a bit crazy, but I'm sure there will come a time when I'll look back and think. Well, I think even thinking now, it was. I've got to look at that as a blessing that I've had one player in Specchi by my side for 10 years. Because that's a rarity in football, I think, that two players get that. I actually had that with Carl Pettifer as well, because Pets I played with it for a year at Bognor, and then for 4 or 5 years at Tottenham, and then obviously Paul for another 5 years. So we did 10 years together as well. To then to have it with Specchi as well is obviously, I think you have to look back on it and a blessing. The same with Tommy. I think that's rarity that you're with one manager for that period of time. I bet there's not many players that have done that, especially not in the higher leagues anymore. So yeah, I'll definitely look back at that as a blessing in years to come.
Do you find it's a sort of a big change? Because I can imagine you all know each other so well, especially when you're playing so close on the pitch, that now you've had to change the way you communicate. You've had to change the way you train, perhaps, to work together as a pair when it's not instinctive as like it was a few weeks back when you were with Specchi.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Me and Specchi almost we knew each other's exact movements in games. We played each other that many times, and but we've got no choice but to adapt quite quickly. Obviously, we've worked hard in training. As the new team have got their points across fairly well and quickly, and you have to get on with it. There's no other way around it, really. If you're not going to accept it or not move on fast, then you're not ready to be playing out there on the pitch.
Yeah, and were you tempted to move with Specchi, not necessarily to Dorchester, but to leave along with Tommy, if that's not too much of a question?
No, it's not. I get it, and obviously I had thoughts through my head, but not really. Especially at the stage I am of my career, I've been there so long. I'm happy there. Would it be a good decision to move on or not? I'm not sure. I think with Tubbsy and Joe Roach I know very well from my time at Bournemouth, and I wasn't against that appointment at all. I think it's a great appointment at this level of football. So I'm almost intrigued to see how things can go. And I've had clubs contact me and stuff, but that's irrelevant. I'm happy at Poole. I've been at Poole 11 years, like we said. So I didn't want to cut that short and just go out without sort of. I've got unfinished business. I want to win another league title. So. Yeah.
Brilliant. What are your thoughts of Boxing Day? That's going to be a interesting fixture. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, it will feel quite strange, I'm sure, but looking forward to it. And we're great friends, and I've got the utmost respect for Tommy. But obviously, for one day only, they're going to be desperate to beat us, and likewise, other way around. So that's what it is. It goes out the window for that day only.
Yeah, it just adds like a little bit of like spice to a fixture that's already spicy, I guess. Like, it just takes out that extra notch, really, from a fan's point of view. I imagine a couple of weeks beforehand your players will start talking about it, grand scheme of things. We're nearly 2 months away from it, so we're looking forward to it from a fan's point of view. You obviously take one game at a time, but do you look at in a couple of weeks we've got Dort, right, hey, let's fire ourselves up for this? Or is it you just take it one game at a time?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the worst for that. I will not look past tomorrow night. Half the time, if you asked me who I had Saturday, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'd ask one of the other lads in the team. I know who the next fixture is, partly because I don't look ahead too much and plan ahead. I think I know the next fixture is the most important fixture, and that's all I need to focus on. Partly because I'm not disorganised, but I won't plan ahead, and I like to live week by week, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like John MacArthur sends text messages saying, "Oh, what time are you getting? Where are you getting on the coach for this game in 2 weeks' time?" And I'm like, "What? I'm still thinking about tomorrow night's game. I'm not that organised to know where I'm going to be in 2 weeks' time." So we have a good bit of banter about that. But he's the opposite. He's so organised. He wants to know where you're going to be at this time, this day. But
we're struggling out. We're working out how to get to Plymouth on Easter Monday. That's an absolute nightmare. We're planning that already in the group chats.
I love it. Your day's out look just as good as ours.
Oh, they're so much fun. Like, I think I've said this to you a couple of times, but like the camaraderie and the fan kind of interaction is the best I've seen in such a long time at Poole.
Yeah.
And we kind of just feel that there's something special will happen at some point. We don't know what that special something is, whether it's obviously this season it can't, but whether it's going to be like a run and first round in the FA Cup, or whether we're going to win the league. Like, we just feel that something is brewing at some point. So yeah, it's so exciting from a fan's point of view.
We felt that as a team, and I said it, I think maybe on Twitter or whatever. I said it midway through last season. I felt like something had just not clicked, because it was always been there, but it just went a level up. We were like, suddenly our fans are a real deal here. they're travelling everywhere in numbers and in a serious voice. And yeah, we noticed it. It was a big jump up, maybe midway through last season, but yeah, definitely a difference.
Especially on Saturday, on the face of it, a 5-2 result doesn't tell the whole story, but the fact that the fans stayed in the shed and just clapped everyone off, was still singing for about 10 minutes afterwards, just shows kind of how much the fans believe in you guys and how much we respect you, really. Like, yeah, I don't know how that felt for you guys, but yeah, we kind of felt we needed to stay there and just lift you guys through. As you said, you were on top for 30 minutes of that game. First half was sensational. The red card changed everything, in my opinion. So yeah, we felt that you guys needed that kind of send off. So yeah.
No, that's why I make sure the whole team always, well, if I can, make sure the whole team come over and clap the fans. Whether there's one there away in Plymouth or there's 500 at home, it's still same. You go and clap that one fan away wherever it is. But we appreciate the money that goes into the travel and the time off work, and it's hard for us. It's the same for you guys, and you've got to pay for your own travel and everything. So yeah, utmost respect to all of you that do that.
Yes.
So the squad seems fairly settled now, obviously after a turbulent period. There's good players in every position. How far do you think this squad's going to go? I know this season is going to be a little bit of a rocky road, but it seems like a strong, settled squad. What are your thoughts at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, this season, we probably could have been, I'm not sure, well, you might know more than me, but this time last year, we weren't in too much of a dissimilar position. You two would probably know more point-wise, but we went on such an incredible run of games, which we could do. It suddenly, a week or two's time, it could completely click and we could go on a run to the end of the season where we're unbeaten. You never know where that might leave you. And I know there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes with us on the training pitch that you guys don't necessarily see or do on some occasions when you're there running next to me, Alex. But yeah, there is a lot of work that's going on behind the scenes and formation changes and obviously things will take time, but they are getting there, and I do trust in the process for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's a complete change. I mean, I was never in the dressing room when Tommy was there, but the guys there now seem a lot more tactically minded. They're sort of relatively new school form of management. Do you think that mixes well with some players better than others, perhaps?
Yeah, potentially, especially how a lot of the players we have in the club are out of academies and they're used to that sort of level of tactics and analysis, and they're used to all that. That is the game nowadays. But Tommy's completely different. He's a different manager, and he had the experience. And no matter what you say about coaching badges, you can't buy experience. And I had all the faith in the world in him and what he did at the club, and I'm sure he'll be successful in whether it's Dorchester or whatever other jobs he has in his career with his experience he's had at our level. Certainly
a common theme that every player that I spoke to about Tommy, everyone just loved him. So he obviously formed a relationship brilliantly that way with the players.
Yeah, no, it's a rarity for an example, on an away game, he would sit with the players at the back of the coach and join in with the cards and banter, and not saying that you should or shouldn't, there's no right or wrong, but that's just a rarity in modern football that a manager would do that. Normally the management team keep themselves to themselves, which is fair enough. Maybe that's how it should be, maybe it's how it shouldn't be. But Tommy, was like a mate of the players kind of things, and he just changed when we got to the ground. When we arrived at the ground, it was, right, I'm in manager mode, and I don't know how he went from and did the both, but he did it and he did it well.
Yeah. And you're a tactically minded guy. Can you see yourself moving into coaching when you retire from playing, or will you sort of move away from football, do you think?
No, I change my mind every day. I think about it every day. What steps are next? And if I'm honest, I feel like I've got too much to offer the game to not be involved in one way or another. What that is, I'm not too sure. I'll do my coaching badges for sure, and I'll see maybe where that takes me. But yeah, I'm not completely decided on what steps there'll be next, but I'll have a future in the game. I think I owe it to myself and to whatever club I'll be at to do that.
Do you think you'll retire at Poole? Do you think this is your home now?
Yeah, I mean,
Who knows?
it's hard to say. There's been so much change recently. It's hard to say, but I've got no plans. I've got no plans to go elsewhere, and I feel good in my body. I feel good in myself, considering my age. So I just said I'd take it year by year and see how I feel, see how I am injury wise. But yeah, no plans. I'm happy where I am. I'll have my testimonial at some point, and yeah, that's that.
Great, that's what we want to hear.
How does like testimonials work? Whisk, like, will the club decide the opponent? Will you have an impact in it, or is it kind of like we can send out a message to whoever's available and we'll play them? Like, do you kind of will you want to be involved in it? Like, or is that it's decided higher up from you?
I think a lot of it has to come from the players' side. A lot of it has to be organised by the player. The club obviously will help for sure, but I think a lot of it, I'm still trying to understand. I'm asking Chris Reeves here and there just so I understand for the future what steps need to be taken. But I think the players have a decent input in what's what and who the opponents are and favours are asked. And yeah, I'll definitely need to call some favours in for that one, that's for sure.
Cool, thank you very much. So we're going to move on to some sort of more personal life-based questions, if that's all right. And we'd just like to know what you do when you're not playing football. How do you sort of make football fit in with your day job and vice versa?
So, day job, obviously, I'm a fitness coach. I for those that don't know, I have a gym in town I opened 2.5 years ago called Rise in Bournemouth. So that's been where I've spent every hour of every day for the last few years. John, you've been there, I think. Alex hasn't yet. Don't know why you haven't been there, Alex, but you haven't been there yet. But.
I've got the physical shape of a god, so
I wasn't working out. Don't worry about
that. Yeah, but that's a lot of my time spent there. That was obviously a dream come true opening that. Has always been my dream to have my own gym. So managing to get that over the line through lockdown was stressful, hard work, aged me a few years, but it was a fantastic move to make. I'm happy I did it. So that's a lot of my time away from football. Got 2 little boys, which I keep off social media and stuff, so people don't necessarily know that. But yeah, I've got 2 little boys. Both love the game. One's nearly 7, and he's been playing at Southampton Academy. Believe it or not, they started under 6, which blew my mind. But
under 6, blimey.
And the other one's 2. But yeah, the one he's been at Saints, playing at Saints Academy for a year, and has told me the last month that he wants to be a goalkeeper, which blew my mind a little bit because I've never met a normal goalkeeper in all the time I've had in the career. So at that age, you just got to enjoy it. They can let them do whatever they want to do. It gets serious maybe 4 or 5 years time, but right now that takes a bit of my time away from football. And then the rest of it, a bit of travelling. I love travelling. That's the only negative of football. Obviously, you have your living 6, 7, 8 weeks in the summer, and apart from that, you're a bit restricted to going to see the world. But yeah, I love travelling, and that's, if I did ever step away from the game, that's probably what I'd like to spend my time doing a bit more.
Can you separate family life? So Sunday after, you said you were as angry as you can remember being after a game. Does that spoil your Sunday, or are you just right, football's done, family time Sunday, off to work Monday? Yeah,
no, I don't let it spoil my Sunday anymore. 10 years ago I would have. I used to feel sorry for my old man driving me to games all over the country from when I was whatever age, and if I didn't win, I don't know how long the journey, if it was 2 hours, 3 hours, if we didn't win, he wouldn't get a word out of me on the way home. And I think about that now, and I think that's poor guy used to have to sit there in silence just because I lost my game. But I think nowadays, as soon as I get home, I kind of have to switch off. Otherwise, you can't let it affect your whole weekend. I never get too high when we win. I never get too low when we lose. And if you can't try and keep a level playing field, it's probably the best way, really. Which football team do you support?
Liverpool.
Born and bred.
I was going to say, because I actually find, and I bet Alex is much worse.
I'm not, by the way. Yeah.
I was going to say, I can't. If I couldn't sleep after that game on Saturday, so I always think, how do you guys get on? I'm just sort of looking, how did he get sent off for that? Oh, why did that go so wrong there? But it's amazing that you can sort of separate it so well.
Yeah, well,
Comes with the territory, I suppose.
it is. Yeah, it is tough. But don't get me wrong, I'm still angry about it now. But I can't have sleepless nights over it. Otherwise, I won't be ready for tomorrow night's game.
It's before a game for me that I can't sleep. Like before we go to watch a game anywhere, I cannot sleep.
Really?
Don't know what it is.
Before a game, I'm fine. It's night games. When you get home from a night game and your adrenaline's still going and you've had blimmin' can of Red Bull and however many coffees and you just lie in bed like eyes wide open. That's the hard bit. Go to sleep at 2, up at 6. That's hard.
So yeah, in the off season. So when you mentioned that you have to fit the gym around the football and vice versa. In the off season, how do you stay sharp? Do you change your sessions in the gym to make it work ready for the pre-season, or is it sort of like a constant level you keep yourself at?
To a certain extent, yeah, constant level. I would never let myself get too out of shape. It's a way of life for me. But I love training in the gym. Obviously, that's my other passion. I almost have to hold myself back throughout the season to train smart in the gym and not push myself too far, which it's going to affect my football. I have to train for football and hold back a little bit. So obviously, when it's out of season, I can go for it. It doesn't matter if I'm sore or have a niggle here or there, because you can kind of. But yeah, in the summer months, you probably have 2 or 3 weeks off. I do anyway at this age now. Before, when I was younger, probably 10 days tops, and you get back into it. Now I feel like I need a good 3 weeks off, let joints and everything settle down, and then just slowly build back up again. But yeah, that's part of it. You have to, if you're abroad, you have to just keep ticking over. Can't get too far out of shape like the players used to do back in the day, where they'd come back a stone heavier. You just can't get away with it anymore. Yeah, you can. Don't get me wrong, still enjoy your food and stuff while you're away, a few drinks or whatever, but you have to kind of keep a certain level, really. Otherwise, you're asking too much of yourself for 6 weeks of pre-season.
I'll stick it with Tommy, because obviously you haven't had any time off with clubs. But say, for instance, if you wanted to go travelling, how would you approach that? Like with a manager being contracted, do you say, "Oh, I've got this event, or I need to, or my other half wants to go on holiday at this point"? Like, how flexible are the clubs at this level?
It is a tough one. It genuinely is a tough one, because not just the club, because Tommy, for example, would have always said, "Okay, yeah, it's fine. You've almost got to accept that the players they're not getting paid 10 grand a week. You can't say no. You're not doing anything. You're getting paid okay, but it's not life-changing money. So if you can't stop a player from going to live their life. But also, on the other hand, that from a player's point of view, you feel like you don't really want to let your teammates down. You don't want to let the fans down by saying I'm off for a few weeks. There's a bit of pressure from that side of things as well. Like if I said I was having the next few games off, I feel like there's a bit of weight on my shoulders. I don't want to let the fans down. I don't want us to not be picking up results. I don't let my players down. So there is a pressure on it. I mean, you've got to try and be a little bit clever with it in terms of working in things around games. If you want to go and travel anywhere, or if a game gets moved, you've got to be a bit clever with it. You definitely can't take the piss. But I think the clubs are understanding and knowing it's not your full-time job, and you also have to have a bit of a life. And sometimes it can be work that takes you away. I had it before COVID, where my work with Puma was taking me away to various locations, and for a week here, a week there, and it was tough to turn down, but I had to just kind of work it around games. And I may have missed a couple, but I still tried to work it around that I didn't. And you feel like, why have I flown back here to go to Blimmin Beaconsfield away on a Tuesday night? But that's the life you live, and that's what you've.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What a service station! Sorry, I'm not having that.
Beaconsfield away. Great service station.
Beaconsfield away is one of the best away games you'll ever go to.
I think I might have done Biggles Wade away. That might have been the one. But yeah, anyway. But that's the life you bought into. You love the game. That's what you're doing whilst you can. So your legs don't let you anymore.
What kind of got you into travelling? Was it like like when you were a kid, you went travelling with family, or what was it? Was it just like a lust for adventure kind of thing?
No, I went travelling with my family when I was younger. Not travelling, just a holiday each year. I was lucky enough to go abroad each year with my parents, and I don't know. I just feel alive when I'm abroad. Just seeing new places, not knowing where I am. It's a nice feeling. I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's just you feel free and alive.
Yeah, I came back from Egypt like at the end of September, and just experiencing that kind of culture. Like you say like try to talk to the locals about football. They only understand kind of Premier League, and try explaining Tier 7 to an Egyptian. It's hilarious. But yeah, I love going abroad when I can and stuff like that. So yeah, I get it completely. Unfortunately, I've never been in a situation where professional sport kind of gets in the way. So it's been good to be able to travel.
Cool. So I've got a load of questions. I broke them down on the sheet I sent you, but they're just a load of quick fire questions. Some are from fans, some are from myself and Alex. So I will just get started if that's all right with you. Got any pre-match rituals?
Not anything overly exciting, superstitions or anything. Weirdly, I'm not superstitious about anything in life. I don't believe in it at all, but I'll always put my left boot on before my right and my left shin pad before my right. No idea why. I don't believe in superstitions. I'm never superstitious, but I do that. Other than that, I have a biggest bowl of pasta you could ever imagine every Friday night before a game. And I make sure I have a double espresso before every game as well.
Now, we've noticed, it's a little joke between the photographer and myself, is that you will always do your jump and sprint. So that's not part of a pre-match ritual.
Good shout. No, good shout, yeah. Good shout. I don't know how I didn't think of that, yeah.
Oh, so it's quite conscious. You always want to do it.
Yeah, my little high knees, my little jump. Yeah, there's probably things I don't even realise that I just do every single game without knowing it. Yeah. You guys probably see some things that I don't even see. But yeah, good shout.
Okay, so we have a question from George Fullerton. I quite like this question, actually. If you could build a five-a-side team out of all the players that you've played alongside at their peak, who do you think you'd pick?
Right, this is quite tough.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper-wise, I had the two in mind that I've played with at Poole, to be honest. I had Luke Kearney, who's probably just as good on pitch as he is in goal. But obviously in a five-a-side, you have to stay in the area. So it's Nick Hutchins. I've never kept so many clean sheets with a goalie in my career. I can't remember the record. I'm sure I'd like to dig it out somewhere, but we had a hell of a lot of clean sheets. So it would have to be a toss-up between the two, because there's two incredible keepers there, and they're both very, very good in their own right. Moving on from that, defensively, I'd love to say Will Spetch, but he was wasted on a five-a-side team with me and Spetchy in there together. So I'd probably go Adam Lallana, no-brainer really, playing from when we were, 8 together. So that's just a no-brainer. I think he walks into any five-a-side team. Brett Pittman, like I said, at Bournemouth, best finisher I've ever witnessed. I'd go as far as saying his finishing was world-class, and I'm not even putting that lightly. It was genuinely world class. I'm sure if other parts of his game are along the same level of his finishing, he would have played Premier League week in, week out, because it was just a whole new level. And there's two others. If I'd put them in, I'd put Carl Pettifer in there. Was incredible for us for so many years, and did the work that if you didn't know the game you would never see, but he did so much dirty work for the team. Incredible at what he did. And then Jonathan Davies I'd put him in there. He had a little spell with Poole. He came to Poole from Tottenham with me, and I think he's been at Froome ever since, but I feel like he's played below his full potential for many, many years, that's for sure. He was a hell of a player in his day, and well, he still is. I think he's maybe a year below me, but yeah, especially at Tottenham, for sure, he really should have gone on to bigger and better things. Big man is the only other one. Luke Roberts, again, in his day when he was on top form, he was unplayable at our level of football, and it's a travesty he's not played higher. But yeah, what a player, what a team that would be.
He's one of the best footballers I've ever seen at non-league.
Yeah, right. Yeah, generally
phenomenal. Truly gutting what happened.
Actually, you mentioned Adam Lallana there. One of the questions is, when did you become buddies with him, and how far does that relationship go back?
Yeah, well, we first played at Red Hill Rangers local team together under, I think it was maybe under 10s. He was at Bournemouth, I was at Bournemouth. He actually went to Southampton, I think. Maybe was he 14? I think Southampton bought him. But yeah, I think from about 14 we were best mates from then on, really growing up. Yeah, I didn't play with him after that. Obviously, from when he went to Southampton, that was it. But yeah, we were close friends and have been ever since. And it's been an absolute pleasure to watch his whole career, to be honest. And for what he did for Southampton, and then for what he did for Liverpool. And that's why I'm a Liverpool fan, really. I made good friends with a few of the lads at Liverpool and got to travel to some great places with them on holiday and to watch them as well. Got to travel around Europe, and their fans are incredible, and I just got reeled in I think 7 years that he was there, and got to really see some incredible European cities and some incredible European games, that's for sure.
Great. Speaking of European games, looks like Tottenham have scored again, so they might be a good shout for Europe this year.
Madison.
Tenuous link. Oh, you got some more points. I don't know. You two are fantasy football guys then, are you?
Yeah, that's another thing in my own time. A bit of fantasy football, yeah.
Massive fantasy football fan.
Well, we've got a league. We've got a league with the pool lads.
Oh yeah, who's hot favourite?
Let me tell you who's top. Who would you guess?
Fogden. Foggy.
Yeah. Didn't make that very fun, did you? Yeah.
The man knows ball. What can I say?
Foggy's Foreigners are top. Good week.
How many points is he on, just out of interest?
557. Just so you know.
That's ahead of me.
Foggy's Foreigners.
545.
Dropped a clue a second. Harry Hutchinson. There you go. Some insight to the Poole Town Fantasy League.
This is not on the list, but it says you've said you'd love travelling so much. Favourite city, do you think?
Favourite city? Whoa. That is a tough one. Miami.
Miami. Is that the weather, the beaches, the nightlife? What do you reckon?
Do you know what? I've done it quite a few times. I've done it with groups of lads on stag do's, so partying, drinking. I've done it with on a chill trip. I've done it with lads to train. It's just ticked every single box, to be honest. There's nothing it didn't have. Good food. Yeah, it's got the lot. Great place.
Okay, so somewhere, this is probably going to be less exotic than Miami. Favourite away ground and why?
If I keep things at our level, then Dartford. I've really enjoyed going to Dartford. I feel like it's like a real. It's a tough one to say. It's like a league, almost like a league stadium on a micro version. It's modern, it's new, it's nice. I quite like going to Dartford. There's other local ones that I prefer not to mention that are fairly nice. But Alex, I'd be interested to know your opinion on that. You see things differently to us, so
there are a couple of local ones that, again, I'm not going to mention, but are quite nice. I think the best best away day I've, in terms of ground, everything, was probably, I really like Hendon away last game of the season last year. Hendon, that was just fantastic. Like, really nice facilities, lovely club. We were on the train from 9 a.m, absolutely battered. Yeah, that was actually a really nice ground. It's quite a nice 3G pitch as well. But yeah, I think the best ground I think I've ever seen us play at was, at the level, probably Farnborough. That huge stand behind one of the goals, just kind of seeing Poole Town flags.
It's like a Premier League stand, isn't it? That one.
It's mental. It's so big.
But the changing rooms, you should see the changing rooms, mate. That would you change your mind once you've been in the changing room.
Okay. I actually used to ball boy at Farnborough Town. I maybe shouldn't say that. When they were Farnborough Town. But I don't remember a big stand at one end, so it must have changed. It's still Cherrywood Road?
Yeah, Cherrywood Road, yeah. But that was when they got liquidated and we came through as Farnborough FC or wherever it was then. Yeah, that stand was built then. Must have only been there maybe 5 seasons.
Yeah, okay.
We feel quite modern when we were in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
because I remember being in not the changing room, but the tunnel, and it just stank of deep heat and Bovril. So I don't know, Bovril's not really a thing at a football ground anymore, is it? Right. I don't think. Although I think I did spot a jar of it.
Yeah, it's still hanging in there.
I reckon that's Joe Roach or something.
Bovril is back at the Tatnam.
So, favourite food?
That's a tough one. I love an Indian, but pizza for me, all through and through. I think pizza's sucker for pizza. I'd have a pizza after every game if I could.
What do you have on top?
Meat feast, all the meats. All the meats. Always.
If you had said pineapple, then this would have been ended very quickly.
I'm with you there. Definitely.
Leave session.
Does not belong on a pizza. Sorry.
What about your favourite film or TV series?
2 comedies. Favourite film is Step Brothers. Will Ferrell's favourite actor. He's class. He has me in absolute stitches. So that would be favourite film. TV series is In Betweeners. For anyone in my age group or era, I could watch that every single night and still laugh at every single joke. From our 18 to 25, I think that was the series that we all watched and still have banter about now, still have one-liners from. So yeah, In Betweeners, classic.
Comedy all the way.
For them two, yeah, the looks of it.
I'm not going to repeat the line, but in one of our group chats earlier, we were quoting In Betweeners. So yeah, it's culturally, I'm a couple of years younger than you, Jamie, but like culturally, that TV series and those films, like, put it this way, they'd never be made again now, would they?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. That's what makes them good, though.
Yeah. Would you rather have another season in the Blue Square in the Conference South, or we'll get to the first round of the FA Cup?
Oh, League all day. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Conference South. Yeah,
Fair enough.
100%.
And there's one more on my list, actually, and that's VAR, yes or no?
No. Straight no. I mean, I'll go into the answer, but it's a straight no, yeah, sure.
Was that before the Tottenham game? Is it the same, or...?
No, I dislike it. I'd like it taken out. I'd like us just to accept that referees and linesmen are going to make mistakes, and that's the game. Maybe they can have some sort of system where if referees are making mistakes left, right and centre, then they're going down to the lower leagues and vice versa. But something needs to change. I can't see it changing, but I'd like it to, just so we can see more free-flowing football.
I feel like that's going to be a unanimous question, actually. I think I'll ask everyone, but I reckon we're going to get no from everybody.
I'd like to see if they did a vote of every single person that plays between the Premier League and Tier 10 or whatever. Well, I'd like to see the vote in what people would want, because I'm sure people wouldn't vote for it. But
yeah, especially if you sort of put it in the middle of the off-season when there's no sort of decisions in anyone's mind necessarily. Be interested to find out what fairly neutral thoughts are on it. Alex, VAR, yes or no?
No. In fairness, I would like to have seen like a consultation with professional players before it was brought in, because I imagine consultation beforehand would have been, yes, let's get it in. And if you asked them again now, I reckon a high majority of them would be like, no. That Liverpool, sorry to bring it up again, but that Liverpool was shocking. That was awful. But it's not the first time something like that's happened. So, and it just seems like, I know obviously there's laws to the game, but like, why can, surely common sense is a thing. Why couldn't they have just stopped the game and said, we've made a mistake, you need to award the goal? Like, it baffles me. It just baffles me.
Cool. So that's all we have questions. So it's just leaves us to look ahead to the game. Where are we? It's Monday, isn't it? So the game tomorrow at Hungerford. What are you expecting from that game?
Well, from what I've read and what I've heard, they're back playing like they were when we had our rivalry with them 4, 5, 6 years ago, where they were quite a direct team. Everything was launched long, quickly into the box, long throws, long ball game. If that's the case, I'm not 100%. We'll find out tomorrow, but that's what we've got to be prepared for. So it'll be helmets on, and we've got to go there and win after Saturday. We literally have to. Nothing else will do. We can't go there and pick up a point. We think we've got to go there and win the game to boost ourselves from our Chesham and Basingstoke games. We need to stay with the pack.
Are you going to be there, Alex? Have you got your travel arrangements sorted out?
Yeah, we're going up. There's a couple of cars going up, and I know the coach is going up as well, with a couple of fans on. So yeah, there's a few of us going. I imagine there'll be about 20, 30, hopefully.
All right, brilliant.
Love it.
Thank you very much.